I want to welcome the GMs and the wives, the godly men and the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there. This is a warning video for everybody that makes those around them better, whether that's just in the activities that they do, the tasks that they're doing, or just you make people feel good all around. And though that's a good quality, you have to be aware that there are going to be some people that will try to siphon off of your energy because once somebody realizes that they don't necessarily need to have their own energy or bring something about themselves to the table when they're around you, they're going to literally become the energy vampires, even if they don't have that kind of tendency to do so. If you give too much of yourself, people will just take advantage of it. And this is where I've begun to realize that it truly is important to understand that if you're going to give your time, energy, or resources to people, to make sure that they value you and make sure that they're valuing the commodities or the products or the services or just your time in general that you're providing to them and for them. Otherwise, whatever you're giving is not going to necessarily, even though it may be seen as good in the eyes of God, because charity is one of the best ways to give back to the community according to the Bible, and giving back is of extreme importance. But if you're doing so at the expense of your own well-being, then it's kind of like trying to fill a cup that will not be ever filled. You want to instead have an overflowing cup. You have the abundance to be able to give those kinds of things. So if you are able to have that ever-flowingness quality, then by all means, go for it. Otherwise, the world does not owe you any kind of quality treatment just because of what you've been through or what's been going on. Too many people in the world think that the world owes them understanding, right? And this is something that Kevin Samuels would often tell men and women on his channel, apparently. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. But he would often say that the world does not owe you understanding. And I don't know if he was the first person to coin this or if he got it from somewhere. I mean, the guy just, he spoke a lot of truth in these statements. And even though he was a bit brash in coming across to these individuals, he was doing so truly, I genuinely believe, for the sake of improving the society that we live in. And this comes at a price to pay for us all. If we really want to see the world change for the better, if we want to make the world a better place, it starts with us. It starts with you. You having a victim mentality is not going to help anybody. And this is something that occurred today in a meeting at my day job. There was somebody that was talking about the things that have been going on and it started to get a little bit more personal than it needed to be, but at the same time, there's a lot going on. So I understand. And I'm not going to go into the detail of who it was or what was going on, but essentially this person had a victim mentality. And I just thought to myself, people like you are what's wrong with the world. You're taking something that is so minuscule and then turning it into something that is so much bigger than it needs to be. And this is not necessarily to say that, it's not necessarily the person itself that's wrong with the world, maybe, but it's more like the behavior and how we choose to respond. I don't understand how so many people have this victim mentality. And at least if the people that are absolutely lazy or incompetent, if they're at least honest about it, then that shows they've got more character than some of the other people that are in higher places, so to speak. And it just goes to show that not everybody and not everything that you see is truly as it seems. A lot of people may seem like they have a lot of materialistic things and possessions and prized possessions and a great family or whatever, and that could be just something else. But really, what you want to focus on is not letting anybody make a living off of your victim mentality. Don't let these people make a living and get off on being able to make you miserable. Because that's what social media is doing nowadays. That's what social media is up to. It can be used for such a great tool, social media. There's so many potential amazing qualities to social media. And yet so many people do it because they want fame. They want clout. They want to be seen. Oh, well, at least I feel seen now. It's like, well, I get that. I truly do. But do you understand how many people don't feel seen on a day-to-day basis? I didn't feel seen since like up until I was like 22, it seemed like, when I finally saw myself. For too long, I thought that I was trying to get the approval from people that never really cared to begin with. And that was one of my biggest issues that I had to go through, was learning how to not seek approval from those people that don't want to see me succeed or happy anyway. Because ultimately, you're never going to get to a place in which you'll find peace and prosperity with people that don't want to see you do what you're here to do. They don't want to see you manifest and fulfill your destiny. They don't want to see that. And you have to be very extremely careful nowadays with the people that you set yourself around. And I'm to the point now to where I don't really get social anxiety. I don't really get nervous anymore. The only time I get like nervous or social anxiety is just when I'm around a bunch of weirdos, or one weirdo in particular. Like they're just trying to, whether it's like gang stalking or what. But otherwise, I'm pretty calm, cool, and collected. And there are many people out there that disturb. like it's like, man, if you disturb my peace, I want you very far away from me. Because if you're disturbing my peace, it's not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. And don't get me wrong, you're going to have relationships. I was just talking about this in a consultation with somebody yesterday. We were talking a little bit about relationships, and the person asked me, because it seemed like my impression that I give in my videos is that a relationship with a man and a woman should be just super easy, especially with a woman, it should be super easy. And it's like, well, yes, but it's also going to take some work. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself, is she bringing more peace than she is chaos? Because a woman is going to be like, a woman is the epitome of chaos. like, think about the Adam and Eve story. God gave us a woman, and then the woman was tempted by the devil first. And then the woman tempted the man, and the man partook. And so the man basically goes, after they partake of this forbidden fruit, after everything happens, the guy basically tells God, Adam basically tells God, you gave me this woman that was a deceitful person that tricked me. Like, that's basically what he says. And God basically just says, well, you were already commanded to do something and you didn't do it. Or rather, in this case, not to do something. But you guys get the point. The point is that even though we're all going to be challenged in certain ways in relationships or in life in general, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to strictly abide by only what is easy. Because sometimes it's not necessarily that things need to be easy, but they need to be easier than they are hard in relationships primarily. Relationships are supposed to be a little bit boring too. Like they're supposed to be not the funnest thing in the world all the time. This is one of the like craziest things about modern relationships because it seems like a man has to be a super human level of narcissistic quality in order to just attract a certain kind of woman nowadays of a particular caliber. Because the only reason that women like narcissistic men that I can see and they fall for the narcissistic tricks is because women are inherently obsessed about themselves, which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They need to be in some sense in order for their survival, and they need to be obsessed with their children as well. Again, in order for their survival. So I understand that. And I understand that a woman is not going to always be like, I'm supposed to be the rock in the relationship. I get that. I can handle the small BS games and whatnot. I'm a grown-ass man. When it gets to the point in which she's causing more chaos than peace, that's the line that I draw. That's the line. And unfortunately, a lot of women out there are just not capable of that nowadays. They're just simply not. And a lot of the men, I see more men at least trying. They are they the most like Chad or Tyrone or Alpha guy, whatever you want to say, out there? No. But by golly, they're giving it all they've got. Some of them are really giving it a good effort. But yet that's not good enough for a lot of women, even though they have nothing of quality to bring. Like some of the way that the women are treating the men out here is just insane. And so the only reason that a man that is narcissistic is appealing to some of these women is because, specifically the toxic ones, is because women are just drawn to somebody that's more obsessed about themselves than them. That's what it seems like anyway sometimes. That's what it seems like. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's what it seems like. And I genuinely see more men at least giving an effort. Are they the best? No, but they're at least giving it an effort. And that's a lot more to say than a lot of these women out here. And this is not also to say that women are all the same way, but my goodness, I mean, I don't see a lot of women even just willing to give in the effort to the relationship. And so if you do have a woman that's willing to give into the effort into the relationship, holy moly, like keep that around if you as much as you can, because there's just not a lot of women like that anymore. And so especially as a man, if you're somebody that is actually wanting to give, actually wanting to provide, actually wanting to protect, some of these women out here are going to really try to weasel their way in to just get the resources, because that's what they're like. That's what women want at the end of the day. They want your attention and they want your resources. They don't like they really don't care much about anything else that a man is. A man, they don't really care about who you are. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's just the way it is. And it seems like because us men, we have to care more. We have to care more about a woman's inside. Because if she's not pure inside, even though we are visual creatures, if we don't care enough about what's on their interior as much as on their exterior, the relationship might as well be over before it starts. So this is one of the things and the reasons why women, I've even heard women say to me, even myself, that I get more attractive just by them interacting with me. And this goes not just for me, but for most men. If a man's presence is more important, a man's presence, what he has to really offer. Of course, if you got a good mouthpiece, you got a silver tongue, that's nice too. But ultimately, a man's presence is going to be what keeps a woman there. A man's presence and his resources. That's it. So and for all the women out there, for all the men that are trying to siphon off of you, because maybe you're a beautiful woman, but you want to be something more than just an object, a sexual object. If you really want that, then you have to stop presenting yourself to be a sexual object. I know, mind blowing. Like that's just the truth, though. If you want somebody to see something more than you, other than being a sex object, stop acting like a sex object. And you've got to be able to say no. Like, it's insane to me how, because women feel sexually liberated, they're going to say yes to all of these bums and losers. And then finally, when a good man comes along, which doesn't happen every day, are you kidding? A man like me, that doesn't come around very often anymore, because I actually have principles. I actually have standards. I actually will check when the need to be checked is there. I'm actually going to set boundaries in the relationship, and I'm going to be able to walk away. Again, I say be able to, have the ability to. I'm not going to say I'm going to walk away. It's just I have the ability to walk away, because if you are a woman that is not going to take someone like me seriously, goodbye. Because I've worked way too damn hard and for too damn long to just be a casual partner. 'Cause I'm not your partner. I'm a man. I'm not going to just I'm not just going to be on the whimsical of you, because you can't control me. I know that can bother a lot of women out there, but you can't control me. Sorry, honey. Sorry. What do you are you wanting me to like be apologetic about me being my own person? No, because that's what ultimately all these women are attracted to. And so women have to realize that if a man is trying to siphon off of his, he's trying to siphon off of your beauty, your love, your attention, your tender love and care, right? The TLC. If he's just siphoning that off, you've got to be able to walk away too. And I'm not saying that should be your first option for males or females, but you've got to be able to demonstrate that you can walk away and you can say no. And if you have to be able to demonstrate also that you can say no to all of these other I like the beta simp orbiters or whatever you want to call them. You got to be able to say no to these men. And say no, like I'm good with the attention from my man alone. Because that's a sign that you actually have a healthy bond, you have a healthy, strong relationship. If you're always talking to this guy and that guy and that guy and this guy and that guy, you're just siphoning off energy, and it just makes you have this dopamine frenzy in your mind, and then you wonder why no guy takes you seriously down the line other than the guy that you don't really want. So be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen, be careful. This is not really the direction that I thought the video was going to go, but apparently the Holy Spirit is calling me to talk about these things. So with all that being said, I hope this video was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.